and welcome to Coastal Crafts. So if you're here today, you will be expecting some Halloween goodness. I'm part of the Halloween collab run by Crafty Michelle, and there's a whole load of us crafters, YouTube crafters, not Mango. Mango wouldn't be any good at doing that, but a whole load of YouTube crafters who are going to be making crafty projects throughout September and October, and I've put their links in the box below, so if you click on each one you can watch all their different videos and yeah, hopefully get lots of inspiration. We'll put that cat back there and hopefully she'll be out of the way. So today I'm working on making little Halloween bottles. So as you can see, Black Widow cobweb stew. I just thought they would be kind of cute to sit as a Halloween decoration. We don't do Halloween at school because we're a Christian school, so they couldn't go to school, but they could be there at home. So I will just show you how I've been making them. I picked up 6 of these bottles when I was at the car boot sale the other day for 60p, so about 10p a glass bottle. And they could be used for a whole variety of things, couldn't they? But I had Halloween in mind when I got them. So what I have done, so obviously with my glass bottle, I've painted it. I've gone for green. But I've also tried a blue one, which I might try out later, but I don't know if that's going to be a bit bold. But gone for green bottles. So obviously you could just have it as a clear bottle. They're quite interesting anyway, aren't they? But I thought I wanted to give it a bit of colour. Gives it a bit more to it. I was using this Americana Decor chalky finish paint, which I picked up on Every Crafts a pound for £1, which I thought was a bargain. They're really nice paints. They dry really quickly, which chalk paints do seem to dry quite quickly. So I've covered it in the green paint, and then as with this one, I wanted to give it a bit more to it. So I have been adding some distress oxide, some black soot. So just using a little bit of sponge this time, and then just adding it along the the edges. I'm trying to think of the word. So I know it looks quite dark, but that's Halloween, isn't it? It's quite dark. I never want to use the word holiday, because I think, well, what are you celebrating there? It's not really a holiday, is it, Halloween? But it's kind of a time. It's an occasion, I guess. And we don't tend to do a lot for Halloween either. So I do own some Halloween items, which you'll see coming up in these collabs. I own some stamps I'm picking up in New York, the Halloween stamps, and a whole load of dies that I've got from AliExpress and various other places. So I thought, well, I never really do any Halloween things. This will be a great excuse for me to use some of my Halloween items and get involved in it, and maybe actually will put some bits up around the house. So Mr. Coastal Crafts is not keen on putting stuff up around the house. He doesn't like to have children come around and get sweets from us. Bit grumpy. See if he comments now, if he watches this video. So there we go. So I'm just giving it, I guess, aging it up a bit. And there we go. So that's using the Distress Oxide. And then I got some labels that I printed out, Halloween labels, and these were free. They were from howtonestforless.com. But if you type in free printable Halloween labels, you get lots come up. This one, if you go on that site, they definitely do print out okay. But when I got them, I thought, oh, they're a bit big. So I did resize them just by copying them, sticking them into Publisher, and I've just made them slightly smaller because of the size of my bottles. But it's going to depend on the size of your bottles as to how much you want to shrink them, or whether they're the right size. If you were doing like wine bottles, they would be the right size straight off. But it's a bit white, isn't it? So we're going to get some vintage photo and just make it a bit browner. And I just did it on ordinary printer paper, as that was what it was in the printer. and they should be absolutely fine in ordinary printer paper. So I'm doing this rather roughly. It's always kind of hard through the camera. And of course, being Distress Oxide, you can give it a bit of a splash with a water spritzer and then dab it off with a bit of paper to get that kind of, they call it an oxidized look, don't they? And I guess it does look a bit like it's been oxidized maybe. And that's even gone slightly onto the bottle, which gives that an interesting effect as well. And then of course the label needs to be stuck on there. So with this one, it's all shiny because I used Mod Podge, the gloss Mod Podge. But now I look at it and they're thinking, I think I'd rather it was matte. So I've got out my matte Mod Podge to attach this with. Just get one of my brushes. And we will stick it on, hopefully central. And I'm just adding a little bit of Mod Podge to go over the rest of it, just to kind of seal it a little bit. I went over the whole thing last time, that's why it was all glossy. But as I'm not going for glossy, I don't know whether I will do the whole thing. I'll just give it a little light coating. And then of course that's got to dry off a bit. So it's going to be my little witch's brew, but it will need, and I'm looking to see where I put this now. It's going to need a cork. Aha. So these corks I found fit in there nicely. We had got a load of the other kind of corks, you know, the ones that come out of fizzy drinks, because I do like a Prosecco, but there's no way I can get that into that bottle. We're not big drinkers, just it turns out Mr. Coastal Grass has been collecting them up for some reason. But it does have writing on it, and I'm not keen on the writing. So I'm going to try, and the other ones I painted them a bit and then went over them in a bit of Distress Oxide. I'm going to see if it works enough just covering it. No, it's not going to work enough just like that. So it is going to require a little bit of painting first off. Oh, that's lots of paint, isn't it? So we'll just give it a little covering of paint, and then I'm going to go over it in Distress Oxide. This is just to get rid of the writing. Just make it a bit less noticeable. So we go. So we need to leave that to dry for a little bit. So I'll come back in a second and show you how my bottle has turned out. And I'm back. And the clever people amongst you will notice it's not the same label as the one I put on. And that's because when I went to put the Mod Podge on, I used a dirty paintbrush and got it all over it. So yeah, I had to take the label off and redo it, but I like this one. Batwing Tonic Elixir, very nice. All done in the same way. So that's my Halloween bottles. If I had various different sizes, obviously they could have different levels. It just happens to be the ones that I have, and I think they would look really good, especially if you had a pumpkin next to it on a windowsill for a bit of decoration. So I hope you enjoyed the first instalment of the Halloween collab, and you'll go and check out the other people down below and come back and join me for the next one. So speak to you soon. Bye.